So very good afternoon, students. In the previous session, we have seen the manufacturing of refractories and the basic concept of polymer chemistry. So that is the revision topic of polymer chemistry. So today in this session, I'm going to explain you the last topic, that is glass, types of glass and the manufacturing of glass. So let us see one by one. But you know how the glass is. Yeah, when you break the glass, it will break very easily. Yes. So glass is an amorphous, hard, brittle, transparent and translucent, supercooled liquid of infinite viscosity obtained by fusing a mixture of metallic silicates, most commonly of sodium, potassium, calcium and the lead. So how the glass is? Glass is having the amorphous and it is very hard and it is brittle. Brittle is nothing but which can be breaking easily, and it is transparent. You know how the glass is, so it is very transparent and translucent, and supercooled liquid of infinite viscosity. Its viscosity is very high and it is appearing in the liquid state, and it is obtaining by fusing a mixture of metallic silicates. So how the glass is synthesizing? By fusing the metallic silicates. By fusing the mixture of metallic silicates, we can synthesize the glass. So mostly we are using sodium, potassium, calcium and the lead silicates. These silicates we are using for synthesizing of the glass. It has no sharp melting point and definite structural formula. So like refractories is having the high, it can withstand high temperature and the melting point also very high, and even it is having a definite shape. But whereas for the glass, it is not having the sharp melting point and it is not having any definite structural formula. So that is glass. So simply glass is nothing but it is an amorphous, hard, brittle, transparent and translucent supercooled liquid of infinite viscosity. And how it is obtaining? It is obtaining by fusing a metallic silicates. It may be representing as XR2O, YMO, 6SiO2. Yes, so this is the chemical formula of glass, XR2O, YMO, 6SiO2. So where R is an atom of monovalent alkali metal like sodium, potassium, etc. So here what is the R here? R is the monovalent alkali. That means the monovalent bases, that is the first group elements, those are the sodium and potassiums. So whereas metal is, M is an atom of a bivalent metal like calcium, lead, zinc, etc. So R is a monovalent, that means which is having the +1 charge, but whereas M is a bivalent which is having the +2 charge. So +1 charge containing metal atoms are the sodium and the potassium, those are the first group elements, and the metal is the bivalent metal ion, those are the calcium, lead and the zinc. So here X and Y are the whole numbers. So in this formula, X and Y are the whole numbers. So what is the general chemical formula of glass? XR2O, YMO and R6SiO2. And here R is a monovalent metal and M is the bivalent metal. In some glasses, SiO2 is replaced by Al2O3, B2O3, P2O5, etc. So here in some glasses, in the place of silica, we are having the aluminium oxide, boron oxide and phosphorus pentoxide. In the place of silica, we have these type of metal oxides in some other glasses. The general formula of ordinary glass or soda lime glass is Na2O, CaO, SiO2. Here N is the monovalent and Ca is the bivalent. See here XR2O, in the place of X we have written 1 here, and whereas R is the sodium and Y is also 1, M is the calcium, and in the place of 6 we have 1 here and silica SiO2. So this is the general formula of ordinary glass. Ordinary glass is a soda lime glass. So that soda lime glass is the Na2O, CaO, SiO2. This is the general formula of soda lime glass formula. So now let us see the properties of glasses. It is an amorphous and it has no definite melting point. So it is not having the proper melting point. It can absorb and reflect light. It is a good insulator of electricity. It is affected by alkalis. So these are the main properties of glasses. So what are the properties? It is an amorphous and it has no definite melting point that we have seen in the introduction of glasses. And it can absorb and reflect the light. It is a good insulator of electricity, so we can use as the insulating material in the power generation industries or in the electronic industry. We are using the glass as a good electrical insulator. And it is especially affected by the alkalis. Alkalis are nothing but the bases. So glasses are affected by the alkalis. These are reacting by the alkalis. It is not affected by air, water and acid. However, it is reacts with hydrofluoric acid to form silicon tetrafluoride. So silicon is present in the glasses. So that silicon is reacting with the hydrofluoric acid to form silicon tetrafluoride. Because silicon is having more reactivity towards hydrofluoric acid, so it is immediately reacting with the hydrofluoric acid to produce silicon tetrafluoride. But it is not affected by the air. That means it is not reacting with the air, and it is also not affected by the water, and it is also not reacting with the acid. But it is only affected by the bases. It is especially affected by the alkali and the hydrofluoric acid. So these are the general properties of the glasses. So now let us see the types of glasses. Glasses are classifying into two types. One is called the soft glass and another one is called the hard glass. So there are two types of glass we have. One is the soft glass and another one is the hard glass. Soft glass is also called as a soda lime glass, and hard glass is also called as a potash lime glass. That means in the soft glass, in the place of monovalent, we have the sodium, but whereas in the hard glass, in the place of monovalent atom, we have the potassium. So that is the difference between the soft glass and the hard glass. So let us see what is the definition and the uses of soft glasses and the hard glasses. Soft glass is also called as a soda lime glass. The general formula of soft glass is Na2O CaO 6SiO2, Na2O CaO 6SiO2. This is the formula of soda lime glass. Sodium carbonate, calcium carbonate, silica are raw material for the preparation of soft glass. See here, by seeing this formula also you can see what are the raw materials in the preparation of the soft glass. One is the sodium carbonate, calcium carbonate and silica. So sodium carbonate is converts to sodium oxide, calcium carbonate is converts to calcium oxide by the removal of carbon dioxide, that we will see in the next slide, and 6SiO2. So here what are the raw materials in the preparation of the soft glass? Sodium carbonate, calcium carbonate and the silica in the preparation of the soft glass. They are resistant to water and melt easily. These are melting very easily, and these are highly resistant to water. However, they are easily attacked by the acids. So these raw materials are immediately reacting with the acid, and these are having high reactivity towards the acid. But these are highly resistant to water, but these are melting very easily. So the common uses of soft glasses are, they are widely used as window glasses, electric bulbs, plate glasses, bottles, jars, building blocks and cheaper tablewares where high temperature resistance and chemical stability are not required. So the soft glass is not having high melting point, it is having the low melting point. So wherever the high temperature resistance is not required, there we are using the soft glasses. So what are the applications of soft glasses? Window glass, electric bulbs, plate glasses, bottles, jars, building blocks and the cheaper tablewares. So these are the common uses or the applications of the soft glasses. So now let us see the next type of glass is the hard glass. We know what is the other name of hard glass. Hard glass is also called as a potash lime glass. Composition of hard lime glass is K2O, CaO, 6SiO2. What is the soft glass formula? Na2O, CaO, 6SiO2. But in the place of Na, we have K in the hard glass. That means K2O, CaO, 6SiO2. This is a general formula of the potash lime glass or the hard glass. And here the raw materials are silica, potassium carbonate and the calcium carbonate. And not sodium carbonate here, the calcium carbonate. So potassium carbonate, calcium carbonate and silica, these are the raw materials in the synthesis of hard glass. Same in the previous, the potassium carbonate is converts to potassium oxide by the removal of carbon dioxide to produce K2O. Same here CaCO3, that means calcium carbonate is removing the carbon dioxide to produce the calcium oxide. So that potassium oxide, calcium oxide are reacting with the silica to produce a hard glass. They have high melting points and less acted by alkalis and the acids. But whereas the soft glasses, these are having the low melting points and these are easily affected by the acids. But whereas the hard glasses, these are having the high melting point and these are less reacting with the alkalis and the acids. So that is hard glass. So now let us see what are the applications or the uses of hard glass. These glasses are costlier than the soda lime glasses because these can withstand at high temperature than the soda lime glasses. So these are used for chemical apparatus, combustion tubes, etc., which are to be used for heating purposes. So due to the thickness, we can overheat the glasses also because these can withstand at high temperature also and these are having the high melting point. So especially these are using in the preparation of the equipments. The glass weights in the chemical apparatus and in the combustion tubes we are using the hard glasses. That is the potash lime glasses. And the next one, the last topic in the glass, manufacturing of the glass. So we have 4 continuous steps in the manufacturing of the glass. These 4 manufacturing steps are the melting, forming and shaping, annealing and finishing. So whereas in the refractories we have around 7 to 8 continuous steps in the synthesis of refractories, but whereas in the glass synthesis we have only 4 continuous steps. One is the melting, a shaping or forming, annealing and the finishing. So let us see one by one. Melting. Initially raw materials in proper portions. So those raw materials are sand, soda, ash and limestone for common glass. So these are generally using as the raw materials in all the common glasses, sand, soda, ash and the limestone. These raw materials are mixing with the refinely added cullets called as batch are heated in open heart furnace in which heat is produced by burning of producer gas. So when we are placing all the raw materials in the furnace or is a hearth furnace, so here all the raw materials are melting here and these are produced by burning of the produced gas. So by burning the producer gas, these raw materials are burning. So at high temperatures like 1800 degrees centigrade, glass starts melting. So at what temperature the glass is starting melting? So at 1800 degrees centigrade temperature. So we are overheating more than the 1800 degrees centigrade, we are heating the raw materials to melt. After that only we can mold the raw materials easily. So we are heating the raw materials more than the 1800 degrees centigrade temperature. So let us see what are the reactions involved. This I have explained in the soft glasses and the hard glasses. So these reactions just let us see once. Reactions involved in the manufacturing of soft glass. So what are the raw materials in the soft glass? Calcium carbonate, sodium carbonate and the silica. So calcium carbonate reacting with the silica to produce calcium silicate and the carbon dioxide. Sodium carbonate also reacting with the silica to produce sodium silicate and the carbon dioxide. So when all the carbon dioxide has escaped out of the molten mass, decolorizers are added to do away with ferrous compounds and carbon if present. So if these compounds are present, we are adding the decolorizing agents to remove the color. So if any ferrous compounds are present, the glass is having the brown color or the reddish brown color. So to remove, to decolorize, we are adding the decolorizing agents if these type of compounds are present in the glass. If a colored glass is desired, if we want the colored glass, if we require the colored glass, the coloring salts are added at this stage. So especially at this stage only, at the melting stage only, we are adding the coloring agents, because when the glass is melting, it is converts to the liquid. So when we are adding the color to that liquid, it will be mixing uniformly. So in the initial step only, either we are adding the decolorizing agent or the coloring agent to get the uniformity. Heating is continued till the molten mass is free from the bubbles and glass balls, and then cooled to about 800 degrees centigrade. So it must be how we must heat the liquid of the glass. We must heat the liquid of the glass. It must be free from the bubbles. So if it is having any bubbles, the strength of the glass will be decreasing because of the pores, because of the holes, because of the bubbles. The strength of the glass will be decreasing here. So the liquid must be free from the bubbles. And color and coloring salts. Especially we are adding these coloring salts to get these colors. If you want to yellow color, we are adding the ferric salt. To get the green color to the glass, we are adding ferrous and chromium salts. To get the blue color, we are adding the cobalt salts. To get the purple color, manganese dioxide. To get the red color, nickel salts or copper oxide. To get the fluorescent greenish color, yellow uranium oxide. And opaque milky white, if you want to get the milky white, cryolite or calcium phosphate. So these are the coloring agents we are adding to the glass material to get the color. And the next step is the forming or shaping. Molten glass is then worked into articles of desired shape by either blowing or molding or pressing between the rollers. So how we are doing the forming and how we are getting into the particular shape, either by using the molding process or by pressing between the rollers to get the desired shape. That is the forming. And this is glass blowing. So by heating that, see here, we are getting the particular shape in this. So to get this shape, so we are blowing this, glass blowing. So after blowing, we are getting this particular shape. This is the liquid. See the molten glass or the molten liquid of the, not molten liquid. So the molten glass is blowing to get this shape. And the next step is the annealing. Simply annealing is the cooling process. Glass being insulator cannot be cooled rapidly. So annealing is nothing but the slowly cooling. If we cool very slowly, that is called the annealing process. Glass being insulator cannot be cooled rapidly, because if it is cooled rapidly, the superficial layer cools down and the inner layers remains in expanded state, which may cause breaking of the glass. So if we cool the glass very rapidly, what happens? Only the external surface will be cooled, and whereas the inner surface will not be cooled. So when it is not cooled, it will be break very easily. So we must, it is a best electrical insulator. So we must to cool this very slowly. That process is called the annealing process. So due to this reason, glass is passed through the different zones of decreasing temperature, and this process is known as the annealing process. Gradually we are decreasing the temperature, so like that we are passing the glass into the chambers, so with the gradual decreasing of the temperature. So like that we are slowly cooling the material to get the desired shape. That is the annealing process. And the last step is the finishing. All glass articles after annealing are subjected to finishing process such as cleaning, grinding, polishing, cutting and sandblasting. So if we get any extra, what we are doing, either we are cleaning if any dust is present on the surface of the glass, or we are doing polishing to get the nice color and nice appearance, and cutting. So if we get any extra that we are cutting, yes, so that is the finishing process. So this is the last process, that is the last step in the synthesis of glass. So here all glass articles after annealing process are subjected to finishing process such as cleaning, grinding, polishing, cutting and the sandblasting process. So these are the 4 continuous steps in the synthesis of glass. One is the melting, forming and next annealing, and the last one is the finishing process. Yes. So with this we have completed unit 3. So in the unit 3 we have the polymer chemistry. So in the polymer chemistry, what we have? In the polymer chemistry we have the classification of polymer chemistry, and along with that we have the differences between the additional and the condensational polymerization, thermoplastics and the thermosettings, and PVC synthesis and the Bakelite synthesis. And one more topic is the refractories. In the refractories we have the types of refractories and also synthesis of refractory, and the last topic is the today's topic, the manufacturing of glasses, and along with the we have the types of glasses. Okay, thank you so much.